Farm Week is a production of the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Today on Farm Week, how much is agriculture worth in Mississippi? Millions or billions?
Agriculture groups say a lack of labor is costing the U.S. economy at least $12 billion a year.
In Southern Gardening, look beyond the petals of your flowers and you'll find a whole new world you may not have noticed before.
In the markets, feeder cattle trade is described as impressive by some, as grain producers look ahead to prospective planting.
In the feature segment, what is old is now new. See how Seed Savers Exchange of Iowa and other producers of heirloom varieties are reintroducing the plants your great-grandparents grew.
Heirloom seeds are seeds that are open pollinated, meaning that the seeds can be saved from the fruit, grown out the following year, and you're still going to have fruit that's true to the parent type. Heirloom comes in the sense that it's been handed down generationally. Most farming in America prior to World War II involved open pollinated seeds, where the farmers would select seeds from the harvest to be their seed stock for the following spring.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leighton Spann.
And I'm Artis Ford. Welcome to Farm Week. Well, Tuesday, March 25th is National Agriculture Day.
Artis, we thought we would start off today with a reminder of what agriculture means to the economy of Mississippi. You might be surprised to find out it's worth billions in our state. Agricultural economists at Mississippi State University estimated agricultural production in Mississippi totaled almost $7.4 billion in 2013. Many people think cotton is king in Mississippi, but it's actually poultry. $2.7 billion worth of poultry was grown last year. In fact, Mississippi ranks 5th in the nation in poultry production. Forestry is the state's second leading ag commodity. It affects a lot of landlords. A reviving economy helped it climb to $1.17 billion in production value. The highest row crop on the list is soybeans. Mississippi's farmers grew almost $1 billion worth in 2013. Corn was 4th. It set a new state record average yield of 180 bushels per acre. $631 million worth was grown in the state. Cotton came in 5th. The state's growers also set a new state record average yield of 1,188 pounds per acre. An estimated $331 million was produced.
And Leighton, of course, this does not include what we call the multiplier effect. This is simply the value of the commodities that were grown. When you take about when those farmers bought fuel and diesel and equipment, that spreads out into the economy. So it may be 2 to 3 times that. And what some people estimate at least a quarter of the state's jobs are related to agriculture. So we salute you out there, because obviously we wouldn't have a job if there wasn't agriculture. So, it is of vital interest to our state that our agriculture is important and it continues to thrive. Well, there's been a lot of interest lately in leasing oil and gas rights, particularly in southwest Mississippi. Well, to that end, the Mississippi State University Extension Service is holding a 2-day workshop on oil and gas development in the state. The workshop will be held Thursday and Friday, March 27th and 28th in Natchez. The location is the Natchez Grand Hotel in Natchez. Register by March 24th and the registration fee is $45. It's $60 at the door. You'll learn about the new technologies of oil and gas drilling, the present status of oil and gas leasing in Mississippi. Best management practices for oil and gas leasing will also be covered. State Attorney General Jim Hood is a keynote speaker. We'll also have links and telephone numbers for you to register on the Farm Week website calendar. That's located at farmweek.msucares.com.
Agricultural groups say our nation's economy could be $12 billion bigger today if there was adequate labor available to grow more fresh produce. This is the result of a report commissioned by approximately 70 agricultural groups, including the American Farm Bureau. Brownfield says the study was entitled "No Longer Homegrown." The study found labor shortages are increasing the country's reliance on imported produce while hurting its economic growth. The share of fresh produce imported and consumed by American families has increased imports by 79%. The lack of labor has kept U.S. farmers from keeping pace. The study says if U.S. farmers had been able to maintain their market share during that time, it would have increased the U.S. gross domestic product by $12.4 billion in 2012. The report says the present H-2A visa program is inadequate and that U.S. farmers are unable to get the labor they need. American Farm Bureau President Bob Stallman said the report points that farmers and consumers need responsible immigration reform.
Well, most gardeners usually focus on the flashiest parts of a plant. In this week's Southern Gardening segment, Extension horticulturist Dr. Gary Bachman says a closer look can reveal much more.
When we look at the flowers in our landscapes, it's understandable that the colorful petals get most of the attention. But in today's Southern Gardening segment, let's take a little closer look at our garden flowers. The arrangement of the pistil and stamen of flowers is critical for seed production via pollination, but it's not the same in every flower. I think hibiscus has an unusual arrangement of the pistil and stamens. The pistil of this Cajun hibiscus is the center structure, surrounded by the swirl of stamens resembling a yellow bottle brush. Native azaleas bloom on nearly naked stems in the spring. The flowers can be up to 1.5 inches across, but it is the way the stamens and pistil extend out of the flower that I find most attractive. Another plant with really long stamens is cleome. I have always loved the tall plants with the flowers that I think look a little spidery, like these sparkler white. For some, the pistil and stamen arrangement provides the plant's name. Torrenia is commonly called wishbone flower. The stamens, which contain the yellow pollen grains, form a structure that resembles a wishbone. Another example is blue butterfly plant, which has intricate flowers that actually resemble little blue butterflies in flight. I really like the way the stamens and pistil arch out and upward and remind you of eyelashes. Some flowers we grow and love are actually composed of many small flowers and still have pistils and stamens. Fireworks gomphrena looks like exploding fireworks with the yellow stamens poking out of the little flowers. So this spring and summer, take time for a little closer look at the flowers in your garden. I'm horticulturist Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Now Gary says take a magnifying glass with you for an even closer look. In the feature segment today, want to try something new in your garden this year? Try looking back to something old. In other words, heirloom plants. Time now for the Markets with Leighton. You say it's only about a week till the prospective plantings report. A lot of people are looking at that.
That's right, March 31st. And already it sounds like Texas may have a lot more cotton. We'll have more on that coming up. Along with these stories in the markets this day, U.S. catfish processing is down. Increased placements are expected in the new cattle on feed report. And the USDA lowers corn and soybean ending stocks. Brand new on Tuesday, the 18th of March, the monthly snapshot of the farm-raised catfish industry in the United States. Prices are still up while processing is down. Here's a look at the numbers. In February, producers in the United States received a pond bank price of $1.14 per pound for premium size live fish. Now that is 32 cents per pound more than was paid 1 year ago. Farm sales totaled almost 26 million pounds round weight. That is a drop of 13% from February 2013. Processor sales totaled 12.5 million pounds. That figure was down over 19% from 1 year ago. Pre-report guesses about the monthly on-feed numbers indicate the tight supply of market-ready cattle continues in place. New as we record this edition of Farm Week on Thursday, ahead of the Friday report, is Allendale Incorporated's estimates. Their analysts say they see February 2014 placements up 7.9% due to improved profit margins and also the fact feed costs are lower than they were a year ago. Marketings are expected to be down 4% due to the tight supply of cattle, and they pegged the total number of cattle on feed in the United States as of March 1st to be 1.2% below 1 year ago. The feeder cattle market has been flexing its muscle of late, even getting stronger in recent weeks. Analyst Jamie Kohaki makes no bones about his preference for this sector of the beef industry, at least for right now.
Very, very impressive trade there. I still like this longer term more than I do the live cattle, just based on the supply side. And I also think normal growing season, corn trends lower, back near 4 maybe, and that keeps feeder supported too. I know this is quite a bit below the market, but I like buying August or a spec plate down around 173.5. It's sharply lower, but if you did see some liquidation coming into month end, I would look to get long there. But I think the feeders are fine and not doing much there right now at all.
Our trivia quiz this week concerns the dairy industry in Mississippi. Take a look at our question. How big is the herd on a typical Mississippi dairy farm? Well, here are your choices for an answer. 95 milking cows or 115 milking cows. Could it be 127? Or is the answer 140 milking cows? I'll tell you at the end of the markets.
We're going to pause for a short break on Farm Week. Coming up, we'll look at the calendar and the rest of the markets. Leighton Spann reports Texas is ramping up its 2014 cotton acres, while the end of the year grain stocks numbers are lowered. In the feature segment today, Seed Savers Exchange. This Iowa organization is the largest private seed bank in the United States, and it's filled with heirloom varieties, ready for you to try.
From our family to yours, Mississippi's farmers believe the best produce and livestock are grown right here at home. With ms.foodsearcher.com, you're only a click away. Using your smartphone, you'll be connected to hundreds of families and small businesses dedicated to providing you with fresh, local foods. Produce, meats, fish, dairy, agritourism, community markets, and more are right at your fingertips, no matter where you are. ms.foodsearcher.com.
Before we get back to the markets, let's look at the Farm Week calendar. Mississippi State University is hosting a 2-day training on large animal rescue. It takes place Saturday and Sunday, March 29th and 30th. The location is the MSU-ES Center on the south side of campus in Starkville. The cost is $75. Participants will learn how to safely rescue large animals involved in accidents and disasters. The course is designed for emergency responders, veterinarians, and livestock handlers. 12 hours of veterinary continuing education credits are available. Mississippi State University's College of Veterinary Medicine will hold its annual open house on Friday and Saturday, April 4th and 5th. April 4th is reserved for pre-registered school groups, with April 5th open to the public. There is no registration fee, and the hours are 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be petting zoos, animal shows, veterinary displays, and demonstrations. Go to our Farm Week website at farmweek.msucares.com for information on these and other events. Now check out this week's Farm Week Snapshot.
Across the belt, Texas may ramp up its cotton production in 2014. This is according to the Eagle newspaper in Bryan College Station. That paper says growers are expected to plant at least 6.5 million acres of cotton across Texas. This compares to last year's number of 5.8 million. The increase is primarily based on higher cotton prices and lower corn prices, thereby making cotton a potentially better return investment. The USDA has changed some significant numbers regarding corn and soybeans for this marketing year. Extension Ag economist Brian Williams answered some questions about the recent March supply-demand report, and he also looked ahead to that prospective plantings report, March 31st. Brian, I understand the USDA lowered corn ending stocks in the latest supply-demand numbers.
They did. They bumped down the ending stocks by about 25 million bushels, down to 1.456 billion bushels.
Now, what was the basis for that? What are you hearing?
It was all from exports. They bumped up exports by 25 million bushels, which wasn't too surprising considering that there had been talk about strong exports for the last few months.
All right, now soybean stocks, they were also reduced, right?
They were, but not by as much as expected. They bumped them from 150 million bushels down to 145 million bushels. There were some shifts in the demand with the crush being reduced by about 10 million bushels, but exports increased by 20 million bushels, and then we imported a little bit more than the last month. All
right, now I know old stock or old crop soybean prices have kind of been running higher maybe than a lot of the other grain, right?
They have been. The prices have been strong. Looking at the futures market, right now they're trading just over, the nearby futures are just over $14, but they were as high as $14.58 just before the report was released, but the report kind of brought them down a little bit.
All right, we're certainly not too far away from March 31st and a very anticipated prospective plantings report. Do you think corn has bought any acres this month or earlier in the winter here?
It's hard to tell. The big thing is that corn has been trying to buy some acres. The corn prices have been real bullish, but soybean prices have been following right along with the corn prices, trying to compete for those acres at the same time.
All right, well, I know one estimate was running like 91.5, maybe up to 92 million acres of corn. That was one guess in the trade. What's your opinion of that kind of number?
I think they're probably fairly close. Most of the numbers that I've been seeing have been right around that 92 million acre mark.
All right, and as far as soybeans, any idea, any guess?
Well, the most recent number that I've seen is 83.2 million acres. That would be 6 million acres more than last year, but there's a 3 million acre reduction in corn acres, and so there's 3 million acres there that we're not sure where they're exactly coming from. Could be coming from wheat, could be coming from cotton, or we just don't know yet.
Before our feature story, let's check the trivia answer for this week. The correct choice is C. The herd on a typical dairy farm in Mississippi has about 127 milking cows.
Well, now that we're in the third week of March, many of you are thinking about what you're going to plant in your garden this spring. If you're interested in unique or heirloom plants, today's feature story is for you. You'll visit Seed Savers Exchange of Decorah, Iowa. This organization collects thousands of heirloom vegetables, herbs, flowers, plants, and trees. Outside of the federal government, it's one of the largest seed banks in the United States. Market to Market's Judy Blank reports.
Sunlight filters through verdant gardens at Heritage Farm, headquarters for Seed Savers Exchange. The thousands of heirloom varieties in the Seed Savers collection have been passed down through generations of farmers and gardeners and are valued for their genetic diversity and adaptability to pressures such as climate change. Seed Savers' mission is to preserve and share this agricultural heritage with its membership and the public all over the world.
There's a lot of moving parts to Seed Savers, and all of them kind of come back in some way to our core mission, which is to maintain heirloom seeds, distribute them, educate the public about genetic diversity. Why is it important?
Many of the heirloom varieties in the collection are donated by people who become members of the organization and share seeds that have been grown by their families for generations. The handing down of seed is what inspired Diane Ott Whaley to co-found Seed Savers Exchange in 1975 with her former husband, Kent Whaley. Diane's grandfather, Baptist John Ott, gave her morning glory seeds that were brought to America by his ancestors.
I'm holding this handful of seed that I'm linking back to ancestors in another country that I never knew about or thought about. I felt the magic in that seed was bringing my family into my life.
In 1986, Seed Savers Exchange expanded to the 890-acre Heritage Farm, where Grandpa Ott's morning glory continues to flourish.
And now when you think about the power of that little seed, we have 13,000 people that are members, we have 24,000 different accessions of seed in our collection, and we've grown into this beautiful, beautiful paradise, and all from a little seed.
The gardens are living classrooms that are open to the public. Seed Savers offers various educational resources, including online webinars. While its primary purpose is to educate the public about heirloom plants, the history of the seed plays a vital role in Seed Savers' goal of preserving America's garden heritage.
You have the Phoebe Vincent heirloom. Our seed historian was able to get the backstory on that. By emailing the great-great-granddaughter, we were able to get more of a story and background to the bean, as well as give the seed back to the family because they had lost it.
The organization also helps the public learn about seed-saving techniques that are no longer commonly known.
Heirloom seeds are seeds that are open pollinated, meaning that the seeds can be saved from the fruit, grown out the following year, and you're still going to have fruit that's true to the parent type. Heirloom comes in the sense that it's been handed down generationally. Most farming in America prior to World War II involved open pollinated seeds, where the farmers would select seeds from the harvest to be their seed stock for the following spring.
The Millennium Seed Bank Partnership estimates between 60,000 to 100,000 horticultural varieties, about 25% of all plants, are in danger of becoming extinct. Seed Savers founders believe genetic material in open pollinated seeds could be critical to our future survival.
In many cases, they've had a chance to adapt to many climate conditions and over the years have turned into a very strong plant. And I just think that who knows what we're going to need for plant breeding in the future.
100 years from now, we might not know what seeds in our seed bank are best adaptable to the conditions that might exist, say, here in Decorah, Iowa.
The historic apple orchard at Seed Savers Exchange displays hundreds of varieties of 19th century apple trees. But Seed Savers says those represent only a small fraction of apple varieties that have survived.
Our orchard manager at Seed Savers, his name is Dan Bussey, and he's also an apple historian, and he's working on a book. He's identified more than 20,000 different named varieties of apples that were grown in North America between 1629 and the year 2000. Over 20,000 varieties. As of 2000, he estimates that we're down to about 4,000 varieties.
Seed Savers' goal is to offer apple trees for sale in his catalog, which already features hundreds of heirloom vegetables, flowers, and herbs.
So Seed Savers is probably most known for the commercial catalog, and that has about 600 varieties in it. They've kind of been standout all-star varieties that we want to make available to the general public, and that's our fundraising mechanism.
We sell seed throughout the world, primarily in the United States. We probably had a customer base this year of around probably 40 to 50,000 customers.
In addition to its catalog, Seed Savers also publishes a yearbook to facilitate the actual exchange of seed between some of its more than 13,000 members.
And that person-to-person exchange is really the most resilient system we can have for our seeds. That means that they're out there, it means that they're getting used, and it means that they're relevant and important to people.
The organization also sells wholesale to larger growers and in bulk to other seed companies. More than 500 garden centers across the nation carry Seed Savers Exchange retail seed racks.
I'd say more than 50% of the revenue that we generate each year comes from seed sales of individual packets.
Seed Savers contracts with various growers to help produce its retail products. Mike Bollinger and Katie Prohaska of River Root Farm in Northeast Iowa help grow garlic with a little assistance from their 2 young children.
We'll sell about 50 to 60,000 heads of garlic for seed this year, and they're part of that effort.
They're providing the seed stock to us, and then we're growing it out. We're doing all the processing and bringing it back to them as a finished product.
Mike and Katie also provide certified organic seedlings for sale at the Seed Savers Exchange Visitor Center at Heritage Farm. Like plants that originally began with a single seed, the exchange has grown over the past 40 years. Its vast seed collection is carefully maintained according to international gene bank protocols.
This is the freezer vault, the long-term storage area at Heritage Farm.
But the history also is preserved in literary form. Hundreds of letters accompanying seed donations are carefully studied and documented. Each year, more than 20,000 visitors are drawn to Heritage Farm, where the work to preserve agricultural diversity has expanded to include livestock, such as rare, ancient White Park cattle. And while Seed Savers Exchange is Aunt Whaley's top priority, she has found time to write about her passion for preserving botanical history. Her book, Gathering, Memoir of a Seed Saver, is a story of the exchange.
I think when we started, we felt the urgency too, because when a seed is gone, it's gone and it's irreplaceable.
For Market to Market, I'm Judy Blank.
As was mentioned in the story, you can order direct from Seed Savers, or you can go to the website and they have a listing of the stores across the nation that carry their seeds as well. Well, we are at the end of Farm Week for this week. On our next show, tired of bending over to garden in your landscape? Try raised beds.
The Pine Belt gardeners have introduced these in nursing homes, around the house, and children's programs. We'll show you how they're made.
In Southern gardening, have you ever sung the blues because you couldn't find true blue plants? Well, Gary Bachman says he knows where to look. For the rest of the Farm Week crew, I'm Artist Ford.
And I'm Leighton Spann. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.